They call me flamboyant, controversial, lady killer. They call me butcher, warmonger, baby killer.
The former vice president of South Vietnam, Nguyen Cao Ky. Today on Now I've Heard Everything, I'm Buell Thompson. April 30th marks the 50th anniversary of the fall of Saigon, effectively ending the Vietnam War and bringing a humiliating end to years of American effort to prop up the South Vietnamese government. One man who was an eyewitness to the events that day was also a man who had been instrumental in the effort to try to preserve South Vietnam. Its former premier, its former vice president, Nguyen Cao Ky. Ky was the head of South Vietnam's Air Force, with no government experience to speak of before he was thrust into the role of premier in the mid-1960s. And it was in that role that he proved to be a complicated, controversial, even some said flamboyant leader who very often clashed with and frequently alienated his American allies. In 2002, Nguyen Cao Ky wrote a memoir, a book which to this day is one of the very few that tells about the war from the South Vietnamese perspective. His book was called Buddha's Child, and when his publisher made him available for an interview, that's when I had the chance to sit down for a few minutes with this one-time leader of South Vietnam. In just a moment, our conversation.
We're about to take a step back and listen to an iconic voice from our recent past. It's one of over 10,000 interviews noted radio personality Bill Thompson did over a 30-year span. We think you'll enjoy it.
So here now from 2002, Nguyen Cao Ky.
It is often said that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely, but you were able to withstand that.
I can tell you frankly, I think I'm lucky that I'm just born, that way. For some corruption or money, I never to give a thought about money. Never.
Well, you were not a politician.
Yeah, because I don't know how to lie to people. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. What is the difference between this book and 20 Years and 20 Days?
20 Days is just a shock story and not a complete one. But this one, I think a true story and more complete, because while working together with Marvin and the publishing company, we also spent time for research. We get so many documents that now declassify, from the library of Nixon, Johnson, and from other departments of the government. So it's quite complete and very accurate story. Yeah.
I gather that 20 Years and 20 Days was not a very accurate story.
To be frank, I didn't spend too much time with
somebody else wrote that book.
Yeah, because I came here at the fall of '75, and then the book came out, I think, few months later.
Yeah, 76 or so. Yeah.
And no, I agree.
Well, this is your chance to set the record straight.
Exactly.
There's a lot of misinformation about you, isn't there?
Oh, yeah, I know. I remember, during the war, both friend and enemy, they all have some name to call me. They call me the flamboyant, controversial, lady killer, and flying playboy, and tango dancer, which is not true. I can twist, I can rock, but tango, it's not me. Why my enemy or people who don't like me, including people like McNamara, they call me by name like Butcher, and warmonger and baby killer and hit admirer of a Hitler and that sort of thing. Yes, they all call me by all kind of name.
And you never had a pearl-handled revolver.
Oh, whether pearl or ivory, it's white. but the one that John Wayne, which again, I can say, Mr. Johnson and John Wayne are really a true friend of mine, American friend. But in war, you carry, pistol.
But for you, as you tell in the story, that it wasn't even during the war. The misperceptions didn't stop when the war ended. After the war, now you come to this country. Now suddenly you're accused of bringing great wealth with you that you plundered from Vietnam. You're accused of being part of the Vietnamese mafia. You're accused of bullying this. And where does all this come from?
Buddha, before become Buddha, have to go through, the long road of suffering. So I don't mind. Someone recently asked me, well, knowing you enough to see that you are very honest man, good soldiers, and very clean, not corrupted at all. So what about all the name and misperception and about you? How you feel? What your reaction? I said, to be frank, I felt nothing and no reaction because I know from the beginning that you cannot understand me. You are so ignorant. So I don't, no, it's true. Even some Vietnamese, don't know me. So I don't expect a foreigner, whether French, English, American, 1,000 miles away, never meet me, never see me. Of course, I don't expect understanding from them.
Do you have a pretty good understanding, you think, of yourself?
I think yes. Or at least I know that I have a good heart. Well, with time, and then the Vietnamese, the population, they now, appreciate me more as a leader.
Well, by the time I'd reached the end of your book, it was apparent that you had almost no regrets. I think I want to read very carefully because I don't want to misquote you. My biggest mistake was allowing the wrong man the opportunity to lead a guarantee of defeat.
Exactly.
And
I don't regret the action that for the unity of the country, the unity of the armed forces, that he stepped down, and gave the power to someone else. I think if I have to do it again, I will take maybe the same decision to step down for the unity of the armed forces. But I think I gave it to the wrong man. The next time I will choose a better man. Yes.
But choosing the right man is extremely difficult.
Exactly, Bill. And again, as an Asian and the son of Buddha, we believe in destiny. Very much we believe in destiny. Now I went through war for many years and still alive. Not as, some about 250,000 of my comrades in arms, or 600,000 more among the civilian population. So I think, it's a destiny.
Why do you suppose that you are still alive?
Yeah.
Why do you suppose you're here and not the guy who was next to you?
Exactly. Well, for myself, hundreds of times, I saw my comrade, my friend, or or someone else is just next to me, and or a few feet away, and then boom, killed by. Yeah, it happened all my life. So now, when they said I'm warmonger, they don't know. You know, as a young man, I have a nice life, and later a nice woman and family, like other person. I don't want to be killed in war. No one want to be killed in war. But then, for me, it's my duty and my responsibility toward my country. And then if I have to die, well, so what? It's an honor and a duty. You have to give your life for your country, but that's it. But I'm not warmonger, It's ridiculous.
After this short break, Nguyen Cao Ky addresses the allegations of corruption.
Are you finding this interview engaging? Curious about the book we're discussing?
Simply click the link in our show notes or visit our website heardeverything.com to get your copy.
When you shop through our affiliate links, you're not only enjoying great content, but also supporting this podcast.
Thank you for your support.
Now back to my 2002 conversation with Nguyen Cao Ky.
I can assure you that I'm not corrupted. I never take even $1 from anyone. You can check with them.
Let me ask you this, and I'm sure this is something you have been asked many times over the many years. Is there one thing that Americans think they know about the Vietnam War that is totally wrong? Is there a great mistake that we've made about it?
I don't know, because, if I ask them, I doubt they will tell me the truth. But for me, and many other military men, we think the cause of failure because we had a wrong strategy, that we didn't use our military might power for the maximum to win the war. And I think the American leader, both civilian and military, they learned something from the war in Vietnam. So when they fought Saddam Hussein, and today in Afghanistan, they use the maximum the military power they have, and you see the result. And also going quick and get out quick. They learn from Vietnam that American people, especially, very impatient. They want to do something quick and have a very quick, fast result.
Well, how does it make you feel when you hear politicians saying, we don't want this to turn into another Vietnam?
That hurt me. That hurt me. What's wrong with Vietnam? And Vietnam was not the first time that we have the involvement of American, okay? The World War I, World War II, American fought, in Europe, Asia, and after that in Korea. And now in Afghanistan and in Saddam Hussein country. So Vietnam is just in between of many American involvement. But, in my opinion, why they still look very bad about Vietnam, and even treat the Vietnam veteran, American Vietnam veteran, very wrong way. And I think the reason was because it is the first time in America history that they were defeated.
You're right.
If we did won the war, and then I'm sure that they will never ask, so many why. Yes.
you have some unfinished business to take care of, don't you?
Yeah, I think. Because even at 73 years old, I'm still very, healthy. And I found out that people still don't not forget me. So a lot of people, especially the Vietnamese, they are still looking up on me as someone that can do something to improve the condition of Vietnam, even Vietnam today. But in this transition, they still face so many problems. The lack of understanding, the lack of knowledge about the world outside, So I think people like me and a million Vietnamese overseas, now that especially the young generations, they are very well educated now. Someday they can go home and help, using their education, the brand they got here, and rebuild Vietnam. Yes.
Can you go home?
Oh yes, I can. In fact, they're trying to ask me to come home. Yes.
Have you been back there since 1975?
No.
What do you think you'll find?
I don't know, but although I never come home, yet, but now every year, 100,000 Vietnamese overseas, take a trip home. Mm-hmm. So when they come back, they report to me. So I can say that I know pretty well what happened in Vietnam today. One thing I really would like to say is to express, the gratitude of me and all the Vietnamese, South Vietnamese, for the American people and for American veterans. And to the American veteran, I said again that your country treat you unfair, but recognition will come. I have no doubt, because the veteran fighting a war much more in much more difficult, environment than American fighting later against Saddam Hussein, even today Afghanistan. So they really deserve, a hero when come.
Nguyen Cao Ky died in 2010 at age 80. Now you can get your copy of Buddha's Child by Nguyen Cao Ky by tapping the link in our show notes, by clicking the link in the description below if you're watching this on YouTube, or by going to our website, heardeverything.com. We may earn an Amazon commission if you make a purchase. Heardeverything.com is where you can also find my 1986 interview with Admiral Elmo Zumwalt.
The decision on the use of Agent Orange is not unlike most decisions in war, which are the least worst alternatives. So it was with Agent Orange. We saved thousands, even though we are, in the long run, probably going to lose hundreds of those thousands.
And my 2002 interview with Colonel David Hackworth.
I had to go through what probably every Vietnam veteran went through, kind of a metamorphosis of getting rid of the bitterness, getting rid of the anger, and be able to kind of sit back and look at that war. And it was a very bad war.
And of course, we post new episodes of Now I've Heard Everything every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and you can find us everywhere you find podcasts. And thank you so much for listening. Next time on Now I've Heard Everything, perhaps you read her book Passages back in the 1970s. Well, we'll revisit my 2006 conversation with author and journalist Gail Sheehy.
They're pretty seasoned sexually. They can teach a young man a lot about the world. And they're not about to get pregnant or rush him to the altar. So there's a lot to recommend. An interlude with an older woman.
That's next time on Now I've Heard Everything. I'm Bill Thompson.